You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
Welcome back to Miles from Main Street. This week, we're talking about the Disney's involvement with the Super Bowl halftime show.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las
This here's a wild ride in the
That's right, the Super Bowl halftime shows. Disney was involved with a lot of them, and I can't wait to talk about them. But you may notice my friend Stuart is not here this week. We've had some scheduling issues. Thought I'd take this one on my own. So, should be a good conversation, though, and I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Before we get into everything, please like and subscribe to the show on your podcast app or on YouTube, and be just sure to share it with your friends and family. Remember, new episodes every Tuesday, and on Fridays, find the Disney Dash, a short form podcast with my daughter Mia, where she is talking Disney from A to Z from a kid's perspective. So the first thing I wanted to do is get into a couple of things. We got a text on the text line. Topeka, Kansas. All I get on these guys is your last four of your phone number. So 1139. Thank you so much. I'm a little confused with why now with online events. Professionally, I work in a world with a lot of webinars, and I know that many are burnt out on that format. Many I talk to are willing to watch a stream, but they prefer the ability to watch when they want. And D23 didn't archive this. I watched via YouTube from someone else's channel later since there was no library holding of the recording. During COVID, when they did these, they at least offered multiple view times or day-long windows. But I had no interest in tying myself down and watching on a computer, since these are not always easy to project to the TV. You know, I do get that. I had some of the same issues during COVID when they were doing those things, and it was hard for me to even find the time to set aside when they were actually showing it, and it was nice that I was able to watch it later. So he could project it to the TV, and then he can watch and not eat a turkey leg. Disney seemed to move away from online program, as during COVID, the Disney Institute was offering their program at an affordable price online with even cheap micro credentials. But at the moment, it feels like a PR optical move to show they are connecting to members outside of Orlando and Anaheim, but is an offering that has missed its moment in history or can be duplicated by YouTube or other outlets. I think it would be much better to put D23 branded programming on Disney Plus that anyone can access, since there is a free membership level. So I agree with some of what you're saying. As I said, it was difficult for me to be available at the time that they're setting up. I don't know that they're necessarily trying to create something like they were doing at COVID again. I think what they're looking for is more what we talked about with the ability of people to come together as a community and talk together. The difficult piece of that is that live chat is moving so fast. It's hard to be able to talk to those people and make conversations or make connections with those people at all. So it'd be nice to see maybe something that grows that, but also creates another way for that community to build. I for one am starting to think that I need to try these and see what happens, which brings me to the next thing I have here. Is a message that I received from Everyday Diz out on Instagram. Thank you for reading my text on the D23 membership episode. I haven't been active lately because of life, but you know, Mindy, I really hope that you are able to get better. She says she's been sick with a viral infection that's actually been way worse than COVID was. So I hope you start feeling better soon. Um, she said, I love this D23 episode a lot because either people don't know about the membership or they aren't sure about it. You gave great information on this. I have had the membership for the 3 past years, and it is a little wasted because of all the events we can't get to. But for me, these past ones have been worth it for the collectibles, the magazines, and the Disney Store discount. Going forward now, this new structure, I'm not sure if it will be worth it, but I'm going to do the $50 essential plan just to still have the access to the discounts and hoping they do more live streaming events or something else. I'm really sad the print magazines are not coming back because to me, that was the most worthwhile for me besides the discount. For some, I know the Disney Store discount doesn't mean a lot, but for me personally, I really pay attention to when they do special discounts for D23 members that are more than the regular 10% and then get really good discounts. Recently, there was a D23 20% off special that also was within a week that they were doing 20% off for everything. And I was able to get both discounts and got 40% off my entire order. That's a pretty darn good discount. If you like merch and maybe even only buy a couple times a year, you can still get some deep discounts. I'm just going to cross my fingers that for this year, $50 is worth everything that I will get. So far in the past, it was worth it, but hoping in the future it will be more worth it when I get back to the parks. I actually want to try to go to the Ultimate Fan event in 2026. So we'll see. Great episode, and thank you again. So, two different thoughts here on the D23 thing. The first one from the text line, he was talking about the show, the Gold Theater that we had talked about on the last episode, and Mindy is talking about just discounts and things you can get out of the membership. Those two things combined make me start thinking, yeah, maybe I do want to be in at the $50 level. Sure, I don't get that nice prize or gift as you would get on the $100 level, but at least this, I'm still getting some of the benefits. I can get that theater show once a month. I can get the, I think I get, if I remember right, I think I can get the magazine in the digital form still. Um, and those discounts you can get a hold of and be able to buy some things here and there. I didn't use the discounts too heavily. If we were down there, I'd try to use them. If we were buying something on the Disney Store website, which I don't do that very often. I'm more of a, hey, I'm here and do I want this as I see it person, maybe an impulse buy, rather than wanting to buy things that I see online. I know my wife, though, does like to buy certain things. Have you seen the new Fantasia set that they just came out with? Happy anniversary, 85 years for Fantasia, but the set is awesome. Like, it's been at Disney World, and it'll say the most magical place on earth on a lot of them. They have the Sorcerer Mickey on it. The coffee mug is a coffee mug that I may have to go buy. Just saying. Um, so yeah, it's those things that have me thinking that maybe I need to get back into D23. I am missing it a little bit. So stay tuned. More to come on that. You just never know. All right. Super Bowls. Before I get to Super Bowls, let me quickly say, if you want to send us a text, please do that. Just follow the link that's on the show notes. It says send us a text right at the top. It'll be great to hear from you. Super Bowl 25 was one of the first times that Disney was involved with the Super Bowl halftime. It featured New Kids on the Block and like 2,000 area kids from Tampa. It was set in Tampa at their stadium that year, and they brought those kids in, and it was considered like the first kids Super Bowl, something like that. So that was one of the things that they got involved in. Super Bowl 34 is kind of the one I really wanted to talk about because that's the one that I remember quite well. That Super Bowl was for the year 2000. So we were, all trying to survive Y2K. Ooh, that was something that never happened, huh? And then the millennium change was happening because it was the year 2000. So they had come up with the Tapestry of Nations, which is something that they ran in Epcot for a while, and the music fed well with Illuminations, that wonderful fireworks show at the end of the night. And they did this with a lot of choir performers, marching drummers, drums. I think I read 50 drum set players on the field. Um, and it was a very percussive music. Mikhailo and I have talked about Tapestry of Nations in the past. I absolutely loved it. One of the floats that they had in the parade in Epcot, which it went around the World Showcase, so it was kind of tight in there. So it was really cool when one of these drum floats would come by. It was this big rotating wheel, and it had drums all the way around it, and these players would stand in the middle of the wheel. And I'm telling you, it's probably 10 feet tall. And no, it's more than that, probably more like 15 to 20 feet tall, somewhere in there. If one of you listeners know for sure what that size is, please let me know, because it was tall. I'm 6 feet and I was looking pretty high up. So anyway, these drums would rotate all the way around at at the same speed, and then somebody was always constantly playing them on both sides of the wheel. And it was really cool for me as a high school drummer to see something like that and watch that. I really enjoyed seeing it, and it was very futuristic, as we all were kind of thinking about the millennium. That it was shiny gold, and they kind of sometimes blue and silvers, and it was copper. I'm thinking platinum type stuff. Anyway, it was really neat to see that and watch those floats, watch the puppets. Like, they had these puppeteers that were walking through the parade with these giant puppets above them, and they'd kind of interact with you, and it was really neat seeing how they would perform that for the parade. uh, they did it a couple times a day, if I remember right, and we would make sure we would watch it. It would go the entire mile all the way around the lagoon, and it was really neat to sit and watch that go by. Um, the performance in the Super Bowl halftime was that music. Like I said, drummers, choir. It was really excellent music. I still feel like it's the best parade that they ever had at the parks. Um, but the Super Bowl halftime show, I remember watching it and thinking it was just so neat, and then it just flowed right to the park, right? Um, so that was a very cool memory of mine. Something that Disney was very heavy-handed in and a big part of. No stars, no, last, I don't know, many years, I guess, we've had the big stars, Justin Timberlake, Kendrick Lamar, Pink. Well, maybe Pink hasn't done one yet, has she? Um, Katy Perry. Like, we've had a lot of big stars, Jennifer Lopez, Shakira. Anyway, they've had a lot of great performers doing their show, and I've enjoyed it. I thought Bruno Mars did a great job too, and it's always been maybe bigger than it has been. But when the Super Bowl first started, the halftime show was still marching bands, which I'm a big proponent of marching bands. So with that, and being known, like, that is something that I would love to see again is even a drum bugle corps that we've talked about. I'd love to see them do a halftime show, even though it would be difficult given the time period that it is. But this show was kind of over the top in production value. There was a circular stage in the middle of the field that had a really cool lighting around it that the singers were performing on and some of the drummers. I wish I could play you the music, but I don't have it. I wasn't able to find a good audio file of it. So I encourage you to go search around on YouTube and see if you can find it. There's some really good, it's just some really good music, and it fed into Illuminations really well, really, really well. Another piece of that is that the Disney, I don't know if they just allowed them to use it or licensed it out, or if they worked with them to have it happen that summer, but the summer of 2000, a group called the Cadets Drum and Bugle Corps, as part of their summer competition, they used that music. And that is where it really got ingrained for me, as I got to see that show a few times. And that really resonated with me because, again, I'm a marching music person. So it was really neat to see that music performed on the field by a high caliber marching unit. And they, of course, did it really well because the cadets always did things really well. So I have seen that video out on YouTube as well. Again, I mean, it's 25 years ago at this point. The quality isn't the greatest, but you can find it. And the music is fun to see. So go check that out too. The Cadets. I don't know if they may have been going by the Cadets of Bergen County at the time, if you're having trouble finding it. But they do Tapestry of Nations for their thing too. I started this as a Super Bowl talk, and it is a Super Bowl talk, but just to finish up on Tapestry of Nations, it then became Tapestry of Dreams in about 2002, where they were able to extend a lot of the use of that through Epcot, and that went for another 2 or 3 years before they finally finished it. There was some challenges about having that parade go around the promenade of World Showcase because of how tight it can get in spots. So it didn't last too long, but for those of us that got to see it, what a great memory. And, it was all kicked off by that Super Bowl in the year 2000 that got it really started and showing off to people and getting people interested. It's that whole synergy that Disney works on to bring things together, bring it forward, get people interested, and then move it into something you can do in real life, right? So interestingly, as I was looking around for some of the research I did for this, I found that after Kendrick Lamar's performance yesterday, some people, it's been controversial, however you want to look at it, and it's got people talking about where they should go next. Should, we get another rapper or performer in there to do their thing that may not resonate with everybody, or for some reason an idea of having Mickey Mouse go perform Fantasia has been gaining some traction, which I think is quite funny. I would love to see him do the Phantasmic performance on a football field, and see how they would be able to bring in the Maleficent dragon or tell that story. I think you would, the show itself, if you go watch it at Disney World, is, I believe, 27 minutes. You don't get that long to do a halftime show. So it would be interesting to see what parts they'd cut out. I immediately start thinking about the new pieces they just put in for Elsa and Moana, where they sing a little bit of their stuff and run in and out. Um, they might have to cut some stuff in there. I don't know that it's as flashy as you would want a halftime Super Bowl show at this point. It's gotten to be a little more involved than Mickey coming out, and I'm thinking about the bubble scene where they put the water fans up and the bubbles are going past, and it's kind of the simplistic music. I don't know how well that would work on a halftime field, on a football field, but it would be really interesting to see. I would love to see Disney do more halftime shows. Their time may have gone past, though, just due to the fact of how Super Bowl shows are going these days. With the big performers. The people had talked about Taylor Swift doing it at one time, but she doesn't really need to, was kind of the idea. I could see one of these days her possibly doing it, bringing some friends on. I look at these for the performance value, for the guests that they might bring out. And so my question this week, I want to hear from you guys. Send me a text, send me a message on Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube too. If you're watching me on YouTube, leave it on the comments. I'd love to hear if Mickey Mouse was the Super Bowl performer and doing Phantasmic, doing anything that they feel Mickey Mouse would perform, who would his special guests be? It's interesting to think about. Would it be just the gang? Would it be Minnie and Donald and Goofy and Pluto and Daisy and all of them? Or could it get even crazier? Could it be like a Christmas Day parade where you get performances from, this past year was Elton John, or we've had Andrea Bocelli and Gwen Stefani, or any of these great performers. The Smashing Pumpkins were this past year too. It would be great to see what Mickey would do. So I want your ideas. Who would Mickey Mouse bring on to perform the halftime Super Bowl show with him? Doesn't have to be a star, doesn't have to be a Disney character. I just want to hear your ideas. Let me know what you think. I thought that was quite interesting, that's gaining some traction on social media, that people would really want Mickey Mouse out there, and I think that would be a lot of fun. I think it would draw in a lot of kids. But it's hard to think that Disney could get their claws in there again. But I would love to see it.
Melissa Pilgrim is our choice for your next Disney vacation. You can reach her at amagicalpilgrimage@gmail.com. We thank her for her support.
All right. So a little shorter of an episode today. Thank you to everyone watching and listening. Remember, you can get episodes every Tuesday. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. As a bonus, leave us a comment and we'll read it on the show. Remember, let me know. Who is Mickey going to bring to the Super Bowl halftime show? Better yet, find the link to text the show in our show notes, and we'll read that on the show. Again, thank you to our text line person, 1139, and to Mindy for sending us that message on Instagram. I really appreciate it. We will be back again next week. Stuart will be back. We have some great things coming, so I hope you'll hit that subscribe button and keep coming back. But as we like to say, some live close, but others don't. So let's talk about it. We'll see you next time on Miles from Main Street.